All right, thanks for checking in. 49ers had day 2 of training camp, and it was kind of an eventful day out there as they went through a bit of a longer practice than what they had on day 1. Still not padded, but plenty to glean from this day as Christian McCaffrey was on the field working on 11 on 11 stuff. Trent Williams out there. Trent Williams going up against Michael Williams, and turns out that the Williamses they have a bit of a rapport. That's not the way to pronounce it. It's rapport. But during the time away, Michael Williams, the 11th overall pick for the 49ers, I guess he hit up Trent Williams and asked him about borrowing his private plane. And so anyway, those two met up in Cabo, I believe it was, and spent some time together. But one of the things that Trent Williams said, and Trent at 37 years old is always very good about talking about some of the younger players. He talked about Michael Williams and just the frame, 6'5", 270 pounds roughly, and just how that isn't necessarily the kind of body type that he goes up against as far as defensive ends. And he referred to him as a young DeForest Buckner. So Michael Williams out there on the practice field did get some pressure on the quarterback. I don't know who he was going up against when I saw him do that, but anyway, with Williams and Williams, that'll be a really good matchup and something that I think both players can get a lot out of. We've seen it through the years. I remember in 2019, Joe Staley and a rookie, Nick Bosa, going up against each other in training camp. I just always had this sight of those two almost after every practice in training camp, walking off the field, talking to each other, comparing notes, Joe Staley helping out Nick Bosa. And at that stage in his career, I think Nick Bosa is even able to help out Joe Staley. But anyway, let's go back to today's practice. The practice started. The 49ers did make a roster move. They signed Quintez Cephas. He spent 3 years with the Detroit Lions. He's a wide receiver. With Jacob Cowing getting injured in practice or even before practice on Wednesday, hamstring injury. The indication I get is that it's not super serious, not a weeks long injury, but all that stuff still very much up in the air. So the 49ers bring in Quintez Cephas. He was with the Rams practice squad, by the way, last year. So even though he hasn't played in a couple of years or seen action in a couple of years, he's been in the NFL mix, in the NFL grinder, going to training camp, trying to latch on with teams, getting tryouts, and then last year spending that time with the LA Rams. And in order to make room on the 90-man roster, the 49ers released running back Israel Abanikanda, picked up last year. Midway through the season, early in the season. He was a Jets draft pick previously, but no spot for him on this 90-man roster. So with Quintez Cephas coming in earlier in the week, Equanimous St. Brown was signed. 49ers have some openings at wide receiver. And I talked about this on my last video that I did. Check that out. Talking about Russell Gage. A guy who has been a very productive receiver, but it was a few years back. Hasn't been in the NFL for a couple of years now, playing in regular season games. But Russell Gage, the door wide open for him, perhaps as a slot receiver. And he had another good day on the practice field on Thursdays. He caught 3 passes, and one from Brock Purdy and 2 from Mac Jones. But the one guy I want to focus in on this particular day is a rookie, undrafted. He's got a big body. He's 24 years old. He's spent 3 years at Wyoming, went to Texas, had knee injury that wiped him out for 1 season, and then the following season only played in 1 game. Last year, he finished up at Nebraska, and he told me after practice, I talked to him, had a pretty long conversation. You can see some of that over at NBC Sports Bay Area.com. But he told me it was a disappointing year that he had last year at Nebraska. But this guy is big. He's pretty fast too. He ran a 4.4 at the combine, a 4.40. So he's got the speed with that size, and he made an absolutely spectacular catch on the practice field on Thursday. A deep ball Mac Jones just freaking aired it out 50 yards down the field. Isaiah Neyor. Um, Maybe I didn't even say his name. Isaiah Neyor is the player who went up over Jason Pinnock, who will be the 49ers starting safety week 1. And also Darrell Luter was there. Dallas Flowers was there. He went up in traffic and brought this thing in, and it was a spectacular catch. I described it as an acrobatic, sprawling catch, kind of a diving aspect to it as well. And if you haven't seen it, go on the 49ers social media. You should be able to see it there. They recorded it. The media, mainstream media, not allowed to record specific plays during practice when it's 11 on 11. But the 49ers, they filmed this stuff, very tight frame shot, but a great catch from Isaiah Neyor. And that's how you pronounce his name. I think I probably butchered it in the weeks leading up to this. It's spelled Neyor. I think I probably said Naor at some point, but it's Naor. He told me that. But one of the things that we talked about when I talked to him after this was that particular play, or he said, here's a quote. He said, "My mentality going into a pass like that is it's either my ball or it's nobody's." He said, "It's a pass I've seen numerous times throughout my career. My mentality is just to come down with it. Matt gave me an opportunity and I went and made the play." The thing that was kind of interesting, or really noteworthy too, on top of that play, which honestly, I haven't seen very many plays in training camp better than that. You might be saying, well, it's only the second day of training camp. No, I'm talking about in many years. I mean, it was that good of a play. And it was just so far down the field. Usually the deep passes kind of top out at like 40, 45 yards. I think this thing traveled 50 yards in the air. So anyway, a really good play for him, for Isaiah Neyor, as he has an opportunity to, I think he's going to be around. I think he will be with the team, or he'll be with some other team the entire season. At the very least, he'll be on the 49ers practice squad. Best case scenario for him, of course, would be that he gets a spot, he wins a spot on the 49ers 53-man roster. The other, the best other scenario for him would be that if he is released, that another team claims him off waivers. But when you look at this 49ers wide receiving group, and, we've gone through the issues they had, and Ricky Pearsall, watch him work out, still very much on pace to start practice on Sunday. But, Demarcus Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, we've gone through their situations. Jacob Cowing is now injured. Going to take a quick drink of water here. Jacob Cowing in a situation where maybe falling a little bit behind with the hamstring injury. Juwan Jennings is Juwan Jennings. And then the other guys that I've mentioned, Jordan Watkins, Russell Gage, Isaiah Neyor. I did it again. Isaiah Neyor, now putting himself in position. Isaac Hodgins, guy who has NFL experience. Malik Knowles, Equinemius St. Brown, Tariq Owens, Junior Bergen, the rookie from Montana. So there are opportunities for some young guys, some older guys to win roster spots, because as I see it, that wide receiver position wide open. But on this particular day, it really was the Isaiah Neyor show, stepping up and making a huge play, and a really exciting play out there. Good day for Brock Purdy. He completed darn near every one of his passes. I think he was 13 of 15. Good day for Mac Jones as well. The 49ers offense really seemed to be clicking pretty well in the passing game. Ball rarely touched the ground. Another strong day. No big surprise. George Kittle, he and Purdy hooked up on a deep ball against Trey Brown. Trey Brown gave Kittle a nice shove at the end of that. But Trey Brown, looking to win the spot as a nickelback, he's going to be in competition or is in competition against Upton Stout, the rookie. But as far as Kittle goes, 4 receptions. That is a team high along with Demarcus Robinson. He also had 4 receptions on this day. And what's interesting is that usually, the receivers kind of move in and out with the different quarterbacks, but all 4 of Kittle's receptions and all 4 of Demarcus Robinson's catches were all from Brock Purdy. The other receptions were Patrick Taylor had 1, Isaac Grindo had 1. Actually, Patrick Taylor had 2 from Purdy, and Grindo had 1. And then also Jordan Watkins, the rookie from Ole Miss, had a reception as well. Talked about McCaffrey. He looked good. He looked bouncy. He looked like he had good burst. He carried the ball about 7 times. They really mixed it up, run and pass in today's practice. And also he had a reception. The one interception, best play for defense, was a rookie, Stone Blanton. He picked off Tanner Mordecai. Mordecai had an interception, the only interception of the day, a couple of incomplete passes. He also had a pass completion to Isaiah Neyor as well. So all in all, good day for the 49ers offense. A big day for Isaiah Neyor as an undrafted rookie and someone who wants to open eyes every day in camp. He did exactly that. So that's the rundown for day 2 of 49ers practice at training camp. And we'll be back at you tomorrow with more content right here on this YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave a comment, a like, and that is it for now.